I'm a Georgia Bulldog till I die. Red and black running deep inside. Got that pride, you can see it in my eyes. Stand tall, yeah, we working through the night. G-A, that's right.
Welcome back to the Doghouse YouTube game, man. We back with another video, y'all. And we talking about Jamari Riddle, man, one of our latest transfers. Now, let me just start with saying this. The fan base have been in an uproar. You know, the 25 season was kind of a letdown, and a lot of people is complaining about the offense. A lot of people is complaining about the defense, as well as the OC and Mike Bobo. But I think that Georgia may be heading in the right direction for 26. I mean, when you think about it, we would have taken a massive loss in 2026, especially with all of these guys going into the transfer portal, right? You had Daniel Harris, which he couldn't outdo Ellis Robinson. And, you know, it is what it is. He's gone into the transfer portal. Then you got Jordan Thomas, which he already transferred to South Carolina. He's a defensive lineman. But then you got Jaden Harris, a defensive back. He's transferred to Kansas, right? So we definitely are, you know, starting to get things together with getting these transfers out the portal. You also got Janelo Guerrero, a defensive back, and he entered the portal. It's not saying exactly where he's headed to yet. You got Andre Evans, you know what I mean? He transferred to North Carolina State, another defensive back, you know. Then you got another defensive back, and Adrian Maddox, he's done entered the portal. So Georgia had to definitely be aggressive, and that's why they picked up Khalil Barnes. That's why they picked up Braylon Conley, as well as Amarius Williams, you know what I mean? So they had to be aggressive. They had to get a cornerback. They had to get a safety. They had to get a defensive end. And that's why I say that I don't believe that this team is going to fall off. I think this team is going to eventually bounce back. One thing about Kirby Smart, he's going to always recruit at a high level when it comes to that defense side of the ball. That's going to always be a thing for the Georgia Bulldogs, and I think we headed in the right direction. And I think we'll be good, right? So my main thing to it is that the fan base has just got to calm down. They got to calm down, because I'm guilty of it also. I can't lie to y'all. You know, I'm guilty of it also, but my thing is I do dive into recruiting a lot, and I do dive into, you know, the transfer portal, and I see who guys they're looking at and they're targeting, and I think that the guys that they are targeting will fit good at the University of Georgia, just as well as, you know, Jamari Riddle. You know what I mean? He hasn't been playing a whole lot of SEC opponents, but he'll get right. You know, the coaching staff will get him right and have him ready to play SEC football, so I'm not worried about him too much at all. But that's the main thing for me. You know, everybody got to calm down. Everybody got to chill. Everybody got to relax. We're headed in the right direction. We're doing what we need to do to get the right types of transfers in for the University of Georgia. That's the main thing, is to focus on the transfer portal. And like Kirby likes to say, he's not focused on one individual position, so he's going at every different type of position. I think he has been aggressive. A lot of people are still calling for, you know, Cam Coleman out the portal. We are probably not going to get Cam Coleman out the portal. I don't think he has committed to any team yet. 9 times out of 10, when that happens, 9 times out of 10, I'm leaning towards he probably wanting a certain amount of funds, right? And I don't believe that Georgia will be paying out $3.5 million to a wide receiver. So 9 times out of 10, we will not be getting Cam Coleman. We just reeled in Jamari Riddle from East Carolina. Not a big dude, you know what I mean, but he got a lot of production. So we all know that the first player, as far as the defense side of the ball, the first transfer that actually committed to the University of Georgia was Khalil Barnes. You know, we talked about him all in the previous live. You know what I mean? He seems like he's going to be a good dog. So, you know, but outside of that, he only has 1 year of eligibility at Georgia. So us reeling in Jamari Riddle was a big time pickup, especially with his production. Like, this guy, yeah, he played at East Carolina. He played lesser opponents, but he has a ton of experience, starting with the fact that he is a sophomore, right? This is why I say that Georgia may be heading in the right direction, right? Because we know Khalil Barnes only has a year of eligibility with us. So us reeling in Jamari Riddle was a big time pickup for us. Like I said, especially when it comes to production, and we'll talk about that. Like I said, he's a sophomore, 6 foot, 182 pounds, man. In 24, he had 63 total tackles, 27 solos, 36 assists, and 4 pass deflections, right? That's in 24. But it only gets better in 25, man. He had 70 total tackles, 38 solos, you know what I mean, and 32 assists with 6 pass deflections, and a career of 133 total tackles, 65 solos, 68 assists, and 10 pass deflection. So this production from him is better than any transfer we've gotten so far. You know, like I said, even though it's against lesser opponents, he will be ready to play SEC football, right? So my thing is, I think that we headed in the right direction. We doing the right things. We finding the right players. You know, like I say, a lot of people are complaining about different things. A lot of people want pass rushers, and I think Georgia will establish a pass rusher eventually. I don't know if it's going to be Chris Cole. I don't know if Gabe Harris get back in the fold of things and become completely dominant for the 26 season. We just don't know. We don't know if we're going to get a transfer, right? So we done got multiple, and we got at least 4 transfers out the portal so far. So this is why I said Georgia is heading in the right direction. We got a lot of people complain about the wide receivers. We just landed a big-time wide receiver in Isaiah Canyon. You know what I mean? 6'4" guy, 215 pounds. You know what I mean? So this guy, and he's also a sophomore, so I think he'll be eligible for, you know, at least 2 years with us. So Georgia is heading in the right direction. I think that for the most part, I would like to see, me personally, I would like to see another edge guy. I would like to see another running back. Not necessarily a quarterback, but, you know, at least another running back and another wide receiver, and then I would be fully comfortable. I don't know if Kirby Smart is going to get another wide receiver. I don't know if he's comfortable with just landing in Isaiah Canyon and having C.J. Wiley as well as Talon Taylor. I don't know if he's just comfortable, and also Sokovie White. I hate to keep leaving him out, but I don't know if he's just comfortable with that room or if he's going to bring in another guy. Hopefully he does bring in another guy. Still a lot of guys out there in the portal. So my mindset is, if I'm Kirby Smart, I'm going to go grab another wide receiver. I'm going to grab a running back and at least one more pass rusher for this Georgia defense. I think that's the issue. I think it's just been issues all around the Georgia football, right? I think that the play calling has been mediocre. I think that the defense has not been playing as well. They haven't had the talent that they need to be a championship team. I think obviously the offense was not really playing. Outside of Zachariah Branch, we had no wide receivers basically. So, you know, I think there's a lot of things that happened with this Georgia football team in 25 that I think we're going to clean up in 2026. I think 26 is going to be a whole lot better. I think people, and as far as the fan base, are going to be a whole lot more calmer about what's going on. I'll be a little more calmer, definitely. But like I said, I can't say it no more. We're heading in the right direction. We got at least 4 or 5 commits, more on the defense side. You know, I think I said we need to get a couple of more on the offense, but the defense side is definitely getting better, and that's where we lacked that a whole lot this season. I mean, the defense had definitely fell off from the 23 to 24 season. I think the defense has completely fell off, and he's trying to get back to that. So we got to kind of let Kirby Smart cook in a sense, but at the same time, I don't discredit anybody that's starting to see Kirby Smart's true colors when it comes to coaching, right? You know what I mean? So that's why with me, I'll call it out. You know, I'll let it be known, hey, something is not going right when it's come to coaching. You got a lot of 4- and 5-star guys out here, and I know people like to speak on stars not mattering, but at some point, you got to be honest. Stars does matter, right? You're not going to be a 5-star for no reason. You don't catch too many 5-star guys that are complete duds. There's only a handful that you'll catch that's a complete dud. So with that all being said, like I say, Georgia is trying to, you know, reel in guys that can help this Georgia football team in 26, and I think it's going in the right direction. I don't think Kirby is done when it comes to reeling in transfers. I think Kirby Smart is going to get at least 3 more transfers. You know what I mean? Whether it's the offense side of the ball or the defense side of the ball, whatever it takes to get it done. We have to win national championships at the University of Georgia, and I think that's what we're going to do, man. So like I say, man, y'all stay tuned for more from the Doghouse, man. I will be live at 5 p.m. tomorrow, so y'all stay tuned for that. We will be talking about all of the grievances, all of the issues, everything that everybody has to say that's gone wrong with this Georgia team. We will be talking about it at 5 p.m., man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Y'all already know I'm your host, and this is the Doghouse, and we are gone. Go Dogs.
G-A, G-A, that's right.